comes out of the decanter, said Ariete, and one day, when I'm older, he's going to take me there, and she'll think I come out of the decanter too. It'll please her, my father thinks, as she's used to him now. Once, he took my mother, and Aunt Sophie perked up like anything and kept asking why my mother didn't come any more, and saying they'd watered the Madeira, because once, she says, she saw a little man and a little woman, and now she only sees a little man. I wish she thought I came out of the decanter, said the boy. She gives me dictation and teaches me to write. I only see her in the mornings when she's cross. She sends for me and looks behind my ears and asks Mrs. D if I've learned my words. What does Mrs. D look like? Asked Ariete. How delicious it was to say Mrs. D like that. How careless and daring. She's fat and has a moustache, and gives me my bath and hurts my bruise and my sore elbow, and says she'll take a slipper to me one of these days. The boy pulled up a tuft of grass and stared at it angrily, and Ariete saw his lip tremble. My mother's very nice, he said. She lives in India. Why did you lose all your worldly riches? Well, said Ariete, the kitchen boiler burst, and hot water came pouring through the floor into our house, and everything was washed away and piled up in front of the grating. My father worked night and day, first hot, then cold, trying to salvage things, and there's a dreadful draught in March coming through that grating. He got ill, you see, and couldn't go borrowing, so my uncle, Hendreary, had to do it, and one or two others, and my mother gave them things bit by bit for all their trouble. But the kingfisher bird was spoiled by the water. All its feathers fell off, and a great twirly spring came jumping out of its side. My father used the spring to keep the door shut against draughts from the grating, and my mother put the feathers in a little moleskin hat. After a while I got born, and my father went borrowing again, but he gets tired now and doesn't like curtains, not when any of the bubbles are off. I helped him a bit, said the boy, with a teacup. He was shivering all over. I suppose he was frightened. My father frightened, exclaimed Ariete angrily. Frightened of you, she added. Perhaps he doesn't like heights, said the boy. He loves heights, said Ariete. To think he doesn't like his curtains. I've told you, curtains make him tired. The boy sat thoughtfully on his haunches, chewing a blade of grass. Burrowing, he said, after a while. Is that what you call it? What else could you call it? Asked Ariete. I'd call it stealing. Ariete laughed. She really laughed. But we are borrowers, she explained, like Clerks and the Honourable John Studdington's, and he looked down. John Studdington, but he was our granduncle. Well, this family lived behind a picture, went on Arrietty, hardly listening, and there were the stovepipes and the bell pulls and the— Yes, he interrupted, but did you see them? I saw the harpsichords, and my mother was a bell pull. The others were before I was born. He leaned closer. Then where are they now? Tell me that. My Uncle Henry has a house in the country, said Arrietty coldly, edging away from his great lowering face. It was misted over, she noticed, with hairs of palest gold, and 5 children, harpsichords and clocks. But where are the others? Oh, said Arrietty, they're somewhere. But where? She wondered, and she shivered slightly in the boy's cold shadow, which lay about her, slantwise on the grass. He drew back again, his fur head blocking out a great piece of sky. Well, he said, deliberately after a moment, and his eyes were cold, I've only seen 2 borrowers, but I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Oh no, whispered Arrietty, of human beings, and he sat back. Arrietty stood very still. She did not look at him. After a while she said, I don't believe you. All right, he said, then I'll tell you. I still won't believe you, murmured Arrietty. Listen, he said, and he told her about railway stations and football matches and racecourses and royal processions and Albert Hall concerts. He told her about India and China and North America and the British Commonwealth. He told her about the July sales. Not hundreds, he said, but thousands and millions and billions and trillions of great, big, enormous people. Now do you believe me? Arrietty stared up at him with frightened eyes. It gave her a crick in the neck. I don't know, she whispered. As for you, he went on, leaning closer again, I don't believe that there are any more borrowers anywhere in the world. I believe you're the last 3, he said. Arrietty dropped her face into the primrose. We're not. There's Aunt Loopy and Uncle Henry and all the cousins. I bet they're dead, said the boy. And what's more, he went on, no one will ever believe I've seen you, and you'll be the very last because you're the youngest. One day, he told her, smiling triumphantly, you'll be the only borrower left in the world. He sat still, waiting, but she did not look up. Now you're crying, he remarked after a moment. They're not dead, said Arrietty in a muffled voice. She was feeling in her little pocket for a handkerchief. They live in a badger's set 2 fields away, behind the spinney. We don't see them because it's too far. There are weasels and things and cows and foxes and crows. Which spinney? He asked. I don't know, Arrietty almost shouted. It's along by the gas pipe, a field called Barkin's Beck. She blew her nose. I'm going home, she said. Don't go, he said. Not yet. Yes, I'm going, said Arrietty. His face turned pink. Let me just get the book, he pleaded. I'm not going to read to you now, said Arrietty. Why not? She looked at him with angry eyes. Because. Listen, he said. I'll go to that field. I'll go and find Uncle Henry and the cousins and Aunt whatever she is. And if they're alive, I'll tell you. What about that? You could write she kept saying, "Well," taking the bag from Harrietty and helping Pod to fasten the grate. "Well, was it nice? Were you a good girl? Was the cherry tree out? Did the clock strike?" She seemed in the dim light to be trying to read the expression on Harrietty's face. "Come along now. Tea's all ready. Give me your hand." Tea was indeed ready, laid on the round table in the sitting room, with a bright fire burning in the cogwheel. How familiar the room seemed, and homely, but suddenly somehow strange, the firelight flicking on the wallpaper, the line which read, "It would be so charming if what?" Harrietty always wondered. If our house was less dark, she thought, that would be charming. She looked at the homemade dips, set in upturned drawing pins, which Homley had placed as candle holders among the tea things. The old teapot, a hollow oak apple, with its quill spout and wired-on handle, burnished. It was now, and hard with age. There were 2 roast sliced chestnuts, which they would eat like toast with butter, and a cold boiled chestnut which Pod would cut like bread. There was a plate of hot dried currants, well plumped before the fire. There were cinnamon breadcrumbs, crispy golden, and lightly dredged with sugar, and in front of each place, oh, delight of delights, a single potted shrimp. Homily had put out the silver plates, She glanced nervously from Pod to Homily. I didn't feel anything, she said. Well, said Homily, perhaps it was a false alarm. Oh no, began Henrietta, it wasn't. And as Homily glanced at her sharply, she faltered. I mean, if Papa felt something. I mean, perhaps, she went on. I don't have it. Well, said Homily, you're young. It'll come all in good time. You go and stand in our kitchen, just under the chute, when Mrs. Driver's raking out the stove upstairs. Stand right up on a stool or something, so you're fairly near the ceiling. It'll come with practice. After tea, when Pod had gone to his last, and Homily was washing up, Henrietta rushed to her diary. I'll just open it, she thought, trembling with haste. Anywhere. It fell open at 9 and 10th of July. Talk of camps, but stay at home. Old Cameronian colours in Glasgow Cathedral, 1885. That's what it said for the 9th. And on the 10th the page was headed, Make hay while the sun shines. Snowdon Peak sold for £5,750. 1889. Henrietta tore out this last page. Turning it over, she read on the reverse side, 11th of July. Make not a toil of your pleasure. Niagara passed by C.D. Graham in a cask, 1886. No, she thought, I'll choose the 10th, make hay while the sun shines, and crossing out her last entry, Mother out of sorts, she wrote below it, Dear Uncle Hendreary, I hope you are quite well, and the cousins are well, and Aunt Loopy, we are very well, and I am learning to borrow. Your loving niece, Henrietta Clock. Write a letter on the back, please. XXO, XO, XX. What are you doing, Henrietta? Called Homily from the kitchen. Writing in my diary. Oh, said Homily shortly. Anything you want? Asked Henrietta. It'll do later, said Homily. Henrietta folded the letter and placed it carefully between the pages of Bryce's Tom Thumb, Gazetteer of the World, and in the diary she wrote, Went borrowing, wrote to H, talked to B. After that, Henrietta sat for a long time, staring into the fire, and thinking, and thinking, and thinking. Chapter 12. But it was one thing to write a letter, and quite another to find some means of getting it under the mat. Pod, for several days, could not be persuaded to go borrowing. He was well away on his yearly turn-out of the storerooms, mending partitions and putting up new shelves. Henrietta usually enjoyed this spring sorting, when half-forgotten treasures came to light and new uses were discovered for old. Borrowings. She used to love turning over the scraps of silk or lace, the odd kid gloves, the pencil stubs, the rusty razor blades, the hairpins and the needles, the dried figs, the hazelnuts, the powdery bits of chocolate, and the scarlet stubs of sealing wax. Pod, one year, had made her a hairbrush from a toothbrush, and Homily had made her a small pair of Turkish bloomers from 2 glove fingers for knocking about in the mornings. There were reels and reels of coloured silks and cottons and small variegated balls of odd wool, pen nibs, was fascinating to stand at last in the thick pile of the carpet, gazing upwards at the shelves and pillars and towering gables of the famous overmantel. So that's where they had lived, and she thought, those pleasure-loving creatures, remote and gay and self-sufficient. She imagined the overmantel women a little tweedy. Homily had described them with wasp waists and piled Edwardian hair, swinging carelessly outwards on the pilasters, lissom and laughing, gazing at themselves in the inset looking-glass, which reflected back the tobacco jars, the cut-glass decanters, the bookshelves, and the plush-covered table. She imagined the overmantel men, fair they were said to be, with long moustaches and nervous slender hands, smoking and drinking and telling their witty tales. So they had never asked Homily up there. Poor Homily, with her bony nose and never tidy hair. They would have looked at her strangely, Arrietty thought, with their long, half-laughing eyes, and smiled a little, and humming, turned away. And they had lived only on breakfast food, on toast and egg and tiny snips of mushroom. Sausage they'd have had, and crispy bacon, and little sips of tea and coffee. Where were they now? Arrietty wondered. Where could such creatures go? Pod had flung his bin so it stuck into the seat of the chair, and was up the leg in a trice, leaning outwards on his tape. Then, pulling out the bin, he flung it like a javelin above his head into a fold of curtain. This is the moment, Arrietty thought, and felt for her precious letter. She slipped into the hall. It was dark at this time, when the front door closed, and she ran across it with a beating heart. The mat was heavy, but she lifted up the corner and slid the letter under by pushing with her foot. There, she said. And looked about her. Shadows, shadows and the ticking clock. She looked across the great plain of floor to where in the distance the stairs mounted. Another world above, she thought, world on world, and shivered slightly. Arrietty called Pod softly from the morning room, and she ran back in time to see him swing clear of the chair seat and pull himself upwards on the name tape, level with the desk. Lightly he came down feet apart, and she saw him, for safety's sake, twist the name tape lightly round his wrist. I wanted you to see that, he said, a little breathless. The blotting paper, when he pushed it, floated down quite softly, riding lightly on the air, and lay at last some feet beyond the desk, pink and fresh, on the carpet's dingy pile. You start rolling, whispered Pod. I'll be down. And Arrietty went on her knees and began to roll the blotting paper until it grew too stiff for her to hold. Pod soon finished it off, and lashed it with his name tape, through which he ran his hat pin, and together they carried the long cylinder, as two house painters would carry a ladder, under the clock and down the hole. Homily hardly thanked them when, panting a little, they dropped the bundle in the passage outside the sitting-room door. She looked alarmed. Oh, there you are, she said. Thank goodness. That boy's about again. I've just heard Mrs. Driver talking to Crampfell. Oh, cried Arrietty. What did she say? And Homily glanced sharply at her and saw that she looked pale. Arrietty realised she should have said, What boy? It was too late now. Nothing real bad, Homily went on, as though to reassure her. It's just a boy they have upstairs. It's nothing at all, but I heard Mrs. Driver say that she'd take a slipper to him, see if she wouldn't, if he had had the mats up once again in the hall. she was practising to get a feeling, when really she was listening to Mrs. Driver's conversations with Granville. All she learned was that Mrs. Driver's feet were killing her, and that it was a pity that she hadn't given in her notice last May, and would Granville have another drop, considering there was more in the cellar than anyone would drink in her lifetime, and if they thought she was going to clean the first floor windows single-handed, they had better think again. But on the third night, just as Harrietty had climbed down off the stool before she overbalanced with weariness, she heard Granville say, "If you ask me, I'd say he had a ferret," and quickly Harrietty climbed back again, holding her breath. "A ferret!" she heard Mrs. Driver exclaim shrilly. "Whatever next? Where would he keep it?" "That I wouldn't like to say," said Granville, in his rumbling, earthy voice. "All I know is he was up beyond Parkin's Beck, going round all the banks and calling, like, down all the rabbit holes." "Well, I never," said Mrs. Driver. "Where's your glass?" "Just a drop," said Granville. "That's enough. Goes to your liver, this sweet stuff. Not like beer, it isn't." "Yes," he went on. "When he saw me coming with a gun, he pretended to be cutting a stick, like from the hedge. But I'd seen him all right and heard him calling away, his nose down a rabbit hole. It's my belief he's got a ferret." There was a gulp, as though Granville was drinking. "Yes," he said at last, and Harrietty heard him set down the glass. "A ferret called Uncle something." Harrietty made a sharp movement, balanced for one moment with arms waving, and fell off the stool. There was a clatter as the stool slid sideways, banged against a chest of drawers, and rolled over. "What was that?" asked Granville. There was silence upstairs, and Harrietty held her breath. "I didn't hear nothing," said Mrs. Driver. "Yes," said Granville, "it was under the floor like, there by the stove." "That's nothing," said Mrs. Driver. "It's the coals falling. Often sounds like that. Scares you sometimes when you're sitting here alone. Here, pass your glass. There's only a drop left. Might as well finish the bottle." "They're drinking fine old Madeira," thought Harrietty, and very carefully she set the stool upright and stood quietly beside it. Looking up, she could see light through the crack, occasionally flicked with shadow as one person or another moved a hand or arm. "Yes," went on Granville, returning to his story, "and when I come up with my gun, he says, all innocent-like, to put me off, I shouldn't wonder. Any old badgers set around here." "Artful," said Mrs. Driver, "the things they think of, badgers' sets," and she gave her creaking laugh. "As a matter of fact," said Granville, "there did used to be one, but when I showed him where it was like, he didn't take no notice of it. Just stood there, waiting for me to go." Granville laughed. "Two can play at that game," I thought, so I just sit myself down, and there we were, the two of us. And what happened? Well, he had to go off in the end, leaving his ferret. I waited a bit, but it never came out. I poked around a bit and whistled. Pity I never heard properly what he called it. Uncle something it sounded like. Harrietty heard the sudden scrape of a chair. "Well," said Granville, "I'd better get on now and shut up the chickens." The scullery door banged, and there was a sudden clatter overhead as Mrs. Driver began to rake the stove. Harrietty replaced the stool and stole softly into the sitting room, where she found her mother alone. Okay, I'm going to end it there, and next whispers